Hello, my friends. I would like to talk to you today about another quality of God's life, God's impartiality. God, in His intentions, in His desires, and in His actions, is always impartial. He never takes sides. Firstly, He does it because He values every human life He created equally. The fact that your life exists is a witness of God's universal love agape that sustains your life in existence. Secondly, God does it because God's definition of a man is never a negative one. God does not identify any man with his sinfulness. For God, a man is somebody who is good with the possibility of sinning. But a man for God is not an all evil man. There is always something good there from God's perspective. So once again, let us see this clearly. This is the nature of God. God in His nature cannot take sides. He will always support all His creation, all human beings He created. Let me give you a few examples of that. The first one, it happened 10 years ago. I was sitting on the bench in the park and I was watching, two groups of people, abortion-oriented people and pro-life movement people, in front of one of many abortion clinics in Florida. I don't want to disclose the location. As I was watching those people, what I saw was quite surprising. Both groups, they were literally attacking each other. Those groups, they had their ministers, they had their prayers even, and they were screaming at each other. And I remember myself sitting there and thinking what God was doing in that situation. God was supporting all the people there. And God was trying to reconcile all those people with His truth. Yet I didn't see even one minister standing in between those two groups, abortion and pro-life people, trying to reconcile those groups. Not even one. Another example, from my young years, I loved soccer. I played soccer a lot. It was a custom in Europe that those soccer players, especially from Italy, they usually were trying to obtain the Pope's blessing for their team as their team participated in the tournament. And you had like 5 or 6 teams that participated in the same tournament, all of those teams with Pope's blessing. So you could ask yourself, so who would win? I remember myself thinking that what really wins the competition is skills. Skills win the competition. And as I was happy to witness people who are asking God for His blessings. And I believe that God is happy when people want to be blessed by Him, and God's blessings, they always deepen our spiritual life. They really make us better. And God wants us to be blessed by His presence. But He does it so those, I would say, now I am talking about soccer players. He does it that those who are better prepared may win. That's the whole idea of the competition. So his blessings are necessary for our human life and very good. But at the same time, those who are better prepared always win. So, I guess that's it. Let us remember, God never takes sides. What are the problems connected to this impartiality in God? The first problem I observed was this problem of rejection. Many people I met in my life, they felt rejected by God, especially young people. I heard so many confessions about rejection. I feel rejected by God. You see, God never rejects you. Once again, God is impartial. Maybe your family, your environment, your friends did reject you. But God never does it. So let us get over with this rejection problem. Even if you live in an environment where nobody loves you, God is there on your side always. Remember that and try to connect to somebody who really loves you, your God. Another problem connected to impartiality is this kind of, I would say, problem of partial or divided narratives, or partial or divided realities. Many people have a tendency to dwell there for a long period of time. And this is very normal that we discuss our life in this way because it comes from the heritage of Greek philosophy. Greek philosophers, they want us to see plus and minus everywhere. They want us to differentiate. So therefore, when we discuss things from those two perspectives, partial personal realities, character differences, different IQ levels, different beauty standards, or partial social realities, different cultures, governments, politics, races, religions. That's normal for us. But we cannot dwell for too long there in this place of partial narratives or realities. Because if we dwell too long there and there is no distance in us towards reality, those partial realities or narratives, they become negative ones. I see it in this way. The more you are focused on all those divided things, all those different races, cultures, beauty standards, whatever is there for us to discuss, the more you do that in your life, the farther away you are from the truth about yourself, that you are a child of God, and your goal is the union with God. And from this perspective, everyone else also is a child of God with the same goal. So once again, from God's perspective, all those partial narratives, all those differences, they should only cause one thing, the flow of love between all those different things. Every healthy personality always displays those two traits of character. Distance to reality, which allows us to have an opinion about reality, and engagement with reality, which allows us to be fruitful. And I am talking now about this distance. We need the distance, that retreat time, in order to see all those differences around us as a possibility to be united, to really see the common goal for humanity for the future. It may even go that far that if you dwell long enough only in this land of partial realities and narratives, you may perceive others as your enemies. People who are different from you as your enemies. And nobody is your enemy on that planet right now. People in Russia, people in Ukraine, people in Arabic countries, people in Africa. They are not our enemies. Never allow your governments, your politicians, your countries, never allow them to make you believe that you have enemies. From God's perspective, you don't. Nobody is your enemy. Always have this perspective. So this is a real danger, because the tendency nowadays in humanity is to dwell for a very long time, to be focused for a very long time, to be engaged for a very long time with all those problems, all those divisions, all those, structures that are different. And without any retreat, we won't have peace in ourselves, to be really ourselves. And I would say something like that even. If you stay only in this land, only there, in those partial realities and narratives, that my feeling is that you really sit at the table of the devil and you drink from the cup of the devil, because you do not allow yourself to have this distance, to think for a moment that we are all children of one God. So that's the real problem for me nowadays, those partial narratives that permeate human culture. The next problem connected with God's impartiality, I would say, is the problem of the universality of the Bible. Our Bible is a universal book. Let me just find this. In the book of Revelation, chapter 7, we read, "A great multitude from every nation, tribe, people, and language stands before the throne of God and worships Him." So the Bible addresses humanity as a whole. The Bible is never about ethnicity or a tribal thinking, or I would say some kind of bloodlines thinking. That's not the Bible. This is very obvious in the New Testament, because it is about universal message of God towards humanity. But the Old Testament is also the same. People in the Old Testament who worshipped one God, true creator of heaven and earth, they were people from different cultures, languages, walks of life. Abraham and Sarah, they were Babylonians. But even, let me tell you, those people that we call Jews nowadays, but in the Bible, they were called Yehudi. And all those Yehudi people in the Bible, they were distinct from other people because of this belief in one God. It was the only distinction. I believe that the real mistake was made, it was year 1611 and the King James Version of the Bible. This word Yehudi was translated into Jews, and the word nations was translated into Gentiles, and therefore our perception of the message in the Bible was translated from universal into kind of ethnical game, into kind of, thinking in the terms of, tribes. You belong to the tribe of God, they do not belong to the tribe of God. But that's not like that, because once again, Yehudi in the Bible are the people who worship and believe in one God, the creator of heaven and earth. It was the only distinction. They were the people of different tribes and nations. For example, Ruth, from the genealogy of Jesus. She was a Moabite, yet she belonged to Yehudi. Rahab, a prostitute who helped Israel, she was a Canaanite, but still she belonged to Yehudi. She worshipped one God. So this is the real distinction. And nations around those Yehudi, they were different than Yehudi because they really believed in many gods. They were not Gentiles, but nations around. So I want you to see that in the Bible, what you have is this Bible is trying to go away from this tribal bloodline narrative into we are all the children of one God narrative. This is the truth of the Bible. And let me end with this one very simple statement that it was a question for me. And I am still living with this question nowadays. And it appears in my mind and heart from time to time. And the question is quite simple. Can God withdraw his universal support for all his children in every nation, tribe, and from every language? Can God withdraw his universal support for all his children? And the answer in my heart is yes, he can do that, because he is a free will being. He can say no, the way you can say no to me and to my talk. God can say no always. And then, if God sees that nothing else can be done with humanity, the gates of heaven may be closed for us. And maybe the days of Noah will be repeated on our planet. So I am still struggling with this question, but I believe that God can do that. God can say, stop. That's enough. He is a free will being. He can do that. Yet, still I see now a lot of good people on our planet, a lot of good young people. So I want to impart my blessings to all of you and tell you, connect to God, your Creator. Believe in one God. Be Yehudi, people who believe in one true God, Creator of heaven and earth. And with that faith, you will conquer any difficulty. With that faith, you will bless yourselves and your families. Thank you very much for today. May God bless you all. See you next time. Bye.